put together a highlight reel of me doing this.
Yeah.
That's how I close each interview, so they knew that they're done. Yeah. And then I would do this before 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Remember the old Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation? That's how she comes out for the video.
Oh.
So I do that.
So that's what you're doing?
Donnie,
Nice.
I do that before I start.
I assure you, I've never seen a Janet Jackson video. Good opportunity today. We have Donny Samson. Bob Don is all I can call him.
45 years later, I'm still getting bobbed out.
Only 5 years I've called him Bob Don because I think he's Bob and call him Donnie. And I call him, same thing. I call Bobby Don Bob.
That's all right.
So that's all right. I'm old.
50% chance of being right.
But anyways, it's unique because Donnie runs the Samson property, which has
6,500, yeah.
How many offices?
We just passed 50 offices.
Jesus. Everywhere. And you guys are opening up all sorts of stuff in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, all that stuff.
Yep, all over the place.
Busy guy.
Are we number one in West Virginia?
We're number 1 in West Virginia. God dang.
Number one in West Virginia.
We're getting there. It's been
Hey, look, I'm partying. When you got a big party down there, you got to let me know. I'm coming over.
West Virginia Gala in a couple weeks. Come on out.
By the way,
Go, Charleston.
we got a gala tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
Real
being party
Producers.
bus, right?
Real Producers. We were just texting about that.
I got
The legend of real estate right here.
I know.
Well, the leader. So anyways, Real Estate Producers tracks all the top producers in Washington area and all that stuff. So in Northern Virginia, they have a big gala. They said black tie. Are you wearing a tux?
I am if you are.
I'm not wearing I look at a fat penguin right now. Anyways,
You should.
I don't know. So you're up for leader,
Broker of the year and leader of the year. Yes.
broker owner of the year. Are there any broker owners left? I mean, they're all owned by big
There's
corporations.
a couple. There's a couple.
Are there?
I think they're main local people. So it's either broker or owner.
Okay.
And then there's leader of the year, which is kind of a separate category. I was blessed. I'm in the crossover, so I'm in both.
Yeah. Well, because you're schmoozing up with homes.com and all that. You know, I swear to God, you start dropping names like Ross supposed to know who this guy is who runs Zillow or owns Zillow. It's like, I couldn't give a You're dropping them names, man. I was talking to Bob.
Oh, it's a name fall over here, and I'm going to drop some names on you, but it makes me feel cool for a second. Mile blow over here.
It's funny. I mean, you got a perspective, more of a global look of the whole real estate world, what's going on with certain companies and lawsuits going on and trends and technology and all that stuff, which is pretty funny. My take on this is I run a portfolio of about $250 million. So I'm running the deals, and Morgan is what we call the boots in the street, or the
Heels in the
street. The heels in the street.
Unless they're cute boots.
Yeah. Actually, I do wear a lot of boots. Yeah.
Yeah, you wear a lot. That's what I'm saying. You just wear very fashionable boots on the street.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're talking with homeowners every day, and buyers. You got a ton of buyers. You do open houses. You know, an open house this weekend that had 30 people, or a lot. How many?
Yeah. 30, 40.
30, 40.
Older.
Yeah, 30 showings on a house, and we only got 2 contracts.
Yeah.
So that's no matter what we
Is that why you
talk
taught
about,
you how to price a home yet? He's going to throw that beer at me.
why don't you where the contracts came above list price? Just go like this. Was it over 50? Was it over 100? Over 125?
Wow.
So,
With only 2 contracts, that's a big.
well, the problem is this, that
Well, we don't allow escalations, so don't like
That's true. It only takes one.
only takes one that thinks there's 2. If you have one that thinks there's 2, then you had
And
it.
if we have 2, they think there's 10.
A lot of times there are.
But I would tell you that, normally we would say 7 showings are going to get you 1 contract. Everything's pretty consistent. Right now, it's about double that. You got to have 14 showings for every contract you have come in. So normally we're launching a 2.15, and it has, let's say 5 coming through. Really great house. So normally I would say, okay, yeah, let's leave it at 2.15. But in this market, it's too many.
Yeah. Only having 4 showings set up, that's making us a little nervous. Like, we definitely need more people to come through the door in order to, in order to be confident that we're going to get a contract in the first weekend.
Right. So it's then this is current. This is the last 2 or 3 weeks. So we've got the ice, snow, what they call it, snowcrete. We had a new word invented this year.
I think the last of the snow is just melted.
Yeah.
Well, it's 80 degrees today, so it's better if it has
But
already.
we're predicting 30% growth because it's been so flat the last 2 years that we have all this pent-up demand and inventory. I'm sort of projecting 30% inventory going up, buyer pool going up about 25%, and they are both brought back down by the snow. Really did hurt, and then by what's going on right now. Okay, so you have 30 people that want a house. They all come out and look at it. 30 showings, 30 open house people, and 2 contracts, which tells me that everybody's just a little apprehensive of what's going on right now.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
So you plot stats on a big, large scale.
Look at a lot of things. Yes.
You do. You're a numbers guy. I'm a numbers guy. I mean, I plot my key markets and, the bigger ones for whatever, but I know you do too. Are you seeing inventory going up or down? Where do you see that coming in at?
So right now we see inventory across the board higher than it was last year, but not as high as it was 3 or 4 months ago because we are seeing those buyers back out into the marketplace. We are seeing it tighten up. Maybe not in the micro market of Vienna and some of the surrounding areas that you work a lot into, but we're seeing it tighter. We're seeing maybe 10% more homes in the market than last year, but a lot more than we're on a couple of years ago. But there were times 4 and 6 months ago that we were at 40, 50% more inventory than year over year. So we're seeing that tighten up some. We're seeing a lot more buyers out there because when you compare, normally March you get a rush of buyers, right? But we're talking about last year at this time, the average interest rate might be 7.25%.
Yeah.
And today it's 6 and under 6. In most scenarios. That's a huge difference in buying power. So we're seeing that pent-up demand for the last 3 years. This is the lowest interest rates have been in almost 4 years.
So when rates come down, inventory goes up, and therefore why the projection of 30% inventory rise. Right now we're at about, across the board, it's about 4 and 4. 4% inventory rise, 4% buyer pool rise. So over the whole thing, that's exactly what we see. It's all being tamped down. And I think people want to buy, but people are very
A little apprehensive.
Yeah, and I think what's happened, Donnie, is as interest rates fall, people wait.
Yeah.
You don't have that immediacy. Well, there's going to be more inventory in April. There's going to be lower rates in April. Why don't I just wait, So I always call it the have-tos and the want-tos. That I need to buy a house now. Okay, you're in. I want to buy a house when I feel like buying a house. Like you, want-tos.
Yeah.
So the want-tos aren't here. The have-tos are here. And there's a lot of them out there. But they just are struggling to pull that trigger.
And
I think they want the rates to fall a little bit.
well, so if they want the rates to fall, we were just speaking this morning on our meeting, and the rates have actually gone up a little.
A little bit.
So where do you think? Do you think that will get some of these people a little, shaken to make a move? Like maybe we're not right, them going down. They could spike up a little.
What's happening right now, many people feel has to be done. It's going to cause a spike in oil prices. It's going to cause a spike at the pump. Give them time to react to that, to pump more oil into the system, and to correct that. The initial phase is interest rates up about a quarter point. So they're falling, boop, they bumped up to quarter point. Gas prices, you say, went up 50 cents. Well, I think it's an overreaction of what's going on, and I think they'll work to correct that. If this goes on for a long time in the Middle East, yeah, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of a blip than a blap.
Yeah.
And
Blip, blap?
it's a blip.
That's an official term.
Not a blap.
Throw that in the chat and see what it says.
It takes a long time. But if I think it's just a blip,
A blab takes a long time, right? At least it's defined.
Dragon will definitely be a blap. Has ever been blatting on the economy. So, but I think all indications are it'll be a temporary thing. And now, it creates an opportunity. If rates were falling, that house would have had 7 contracts, and you have fought like hell with 7 contracts. I think the buyer should get out now. There is inventory. There are people apprehensive, and there's houses out there to buy. And when you're bluffed into, hey, we got 8 contracts,
Yeah.
I can see how many times you've seen on showing time.
Sure.
So I can project that you probably have about 2 contracts or 3, not 8. But I would just say this: I think the opportunity for the buyers, and this is what you tell buyers, that as everybody's a little apprehensive and not putting in a ton of contracts, you need to make your move. Buyers need to make their move.
Make the move now, because if Morgan, if you're right and the people are waiting a little bit till those rates come down, and you see that sometimes, I'm gonna wait till it's 5.5, or I think there's still more to go. Great. Then what's everybody else doing? If everybody else is waiting, I'd rather get in now. If I'm competing against 5 of you, I don't care if my rate was 0.25% or 0.5% lower. If I paid 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand more for the house, I'm never getting that money back. So get in now. If they had 8 contracts on that house you mentioned instead of 2,
Exactly right.
go for 100 grand more.
Well,
Right?
Yeah.
Something like that?
my brother, your uncle, right?
Gotcha.
Raising hell because the stock market went down and plummeted down, and he was crying like a little kid, right? My other brother, not your brother, not your dad.
And I was like, which brother?
I wasn't Danny. Danny was the one.
Finally, I bet.
Danny is not legit.
Danny didn't know where the stock market is. If you gave him a map, he couldn't find it. So, anyways, it's like all us real estate guys. I mean, why would I give
Living in the now, right?
Yeah. It's like a South Park episode. And I put this and this, and it's gone. Maybe it's gone. It's gone. But anyways, so we regress.
Back to my uncle. Yeah.
Back to
your brother.
He cried like hell about how the stock market went down. But it's like, sounds to me like a good time to get in that stock market, whatever the hell it is.
Right.
You're gonna find it.
I'm gonna find the stock market.
Find that stock market.
Sounds like people are pissed.
I'm gonna buy some of that damn stock market.
Sound about
Get me in there.
He's like, where is it? DC?
and when he stops complaining, then I'm gonna sell.
I'm the only guy that tells he goes, that's my book. Hey, Chet, whatever the hell your name is, where's the hell the stock market?
I think it's on the interwebs somewhere.
It's not.
There's an app.
It's gone.
Here's an app.
Very young in life, I worked with a bunch of financial planners and realized that's the biggest scam I've ever seen in my life. So I kind of stay with real estate,
Gotcha.
But anyway,
A bunch of financial planners just got
should I be able to find the
It's like
stock?
having your clientele.
Should I be able to find that stock market? I would have invested in what Pat was.
He's like, it's a scam. They're like on the beach. They're like, okay. Great scam.
Seems like it's going
Seems like it's going pretty well.
Air on the beach.
because they're buying clients. Because they're buying when the stock market.
Yeah.
That's it. So, anyways, contrarian is you turn that around to the real estate people and sellers. We're not having a problem because we've just proven over and over again. I think our sales are up 30%, and everything's going under contract in the first week, even in this market. So everything that you go, as long as you're smart about it. And by the way, people that think about not fixing up the houses don't even think about putting it on because they're too picky right now. The buyers are picky. It's got to be in good shape, got to be priced right, and then they'll bid the living hell out of it.
Yep.
If it's a perfect house, they want it, they're willing to pay for it, but they are not willing to pay for something that looks like crap or overpriced.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm blessed with, because you guys do such a good job of it with all your homes, that's why they're so successful, but I get to see all across the board with 6,500 realtors and all these different conversations I have. So I see the people that do it well and the people that list it just because they let the seller tell them, oh, this is what I want to list at. I don't want to fix anything up. And I see you come in after the place and do a good job with the listings.
Yeah.
But we have those realtors and those transactions here too, right? So, fix it up the right way or you got no chance. All that, Casey and Morgan, all their transactions that have all the success is because they listen to them and they stage them, unless they break commandments. But I don't want to get that big man riled up over there.
Dude, you should have seen what happened yesterday. We go into this big house on the biggest road of all time. Like, Baldacci lives on this town. It's just a beautiful place. So we're in a bathroom, and I'm trying to figure out how to fix this bathroom up a little bit to make it look worthwhile. And it really is. It's a problem. There's going to be no fixing up.
I watched a previous episode of your podcast. I'm a little worried we just start talking about the bathroom.
No.
But go
Oh, yeah.
I've heard some stories.
We're gonna
And
hit you in
I'm,
the face with a
well,
two-by-four.
he's saying this in the morning meeting today, like, hey, we just all got to be on the same page and not like shut each other down. And I was like, are you talking about me? When we were at the meeting the other day, I was like, Dad, there was green tile everywhere, and you were saying, just pop the counters off the top and that'll be good. I was like, this is an as-is bathroom, but we're either saying as is or redoing the whole thing. This is not a lipstick on a pig type situation.
Took a 4x6. And I was
Still railing over it.
and she took this 2x6 and slammed me right in the head. I'm like,
didn't.
I'm just kidding.
I just
But
don't waste time. I'm like,
just
I'm
saying,
just going to
yeah,
tell you the truth.
that's why I told the man.
Was she right?
But remember,
Of course I was right. I'll show you the picture.
I know, Donnie. I tell the stuff.
Hold it.
Like,
You know what it was?
It's-
You're the campaign where you see something, you're like, that's worse than I thought. I was like, do you remember this? Do you remember seeing this picture? That's worse than I thought.
picture. Morgan sent the picture. S'mores like, that's good. So anyway, imagine that. With Kelly, same thing. It's like, all right, I'm out. And Colby, I'm out. I'm out. I just want to sing that part.
It's above your pay grade.
Yeah.
We sometimes have to be like, he'll be like, I love what you did here. And we're like, shh.
But God,
That's all
I'm
coming down.
convinced that is the key to why our team does what it does, because the other big time realtors, they are working alone and they're 70 and they go, oh, let's follow and throw this on. I mean, I go to listing appointments to get some all the time, and I said, they told you to leave it alone like this? So Morgan, Kelly, and Colby, they'll just pump that thing up and fix it so it looks great when we go out. So the difference is, I'm like, it looks good to me.
But it's more of like a collaboration, because I think what makes it, where we know we're right is I want Colby's opinion. I want your opinion. If we have a question, I'm texting Kelly. So all of us are kind of on the same page. That should be done. If I was just walking in there making decisions, like sometimes you're going to question, should I do this? Should I not? So really having the force of all these people who know what we're doing come up with the decision, actually doing this isn't going to get the return that we thought it would, or actually this is going to really make a difference. So,
But having the two generations, having the experienced professional with the pricing, and having the younger generation that knows style and knows how to fix it up is a huge winning formula.
Our buyers are 30-somethings, 40-somethings. They're not 65-somethings,
Yeah.
Looks good to be. But anyway, when you talk about the collaboration effort, though, like this is what started when we said, hey, can we get all our top producers together? The culture in Samson is, let's get 60 top producers in a room and everybody tell us your secrets. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you use AI? How does this work? How does that work? How do you do predictive analysis? Yep. I mean, the culture of the company is the exact same way, So our culture is, let's all talk about it and come up with a solution. Same thing with the Samson properties, which really works well.
Yeah.
Love it.
So pet peeve.
I'm always grumpy.
He's just going to be like, Morgan.
Hey, when I get to 10,
Casey's complaint corner.
Yeah.
I know. I go with my pet peeves, right? That I said I have protocols. Don't break the protocol, because every time someone breaks the protocol, we lose, and we lose big. And there's a lot of money at stake. So, for example, we may have a house that owned by an engineer or a builder, somebody, and he knows it's a great house. Oh, it's the greatest house. And my rule is you must get a home inspector in there beforehand and fix it and do all that. So we have a builder, we sell the builder's house, he doesn't do the home inspection, and bam, he gets flagged by the home inspection. The home inspector comes in, contract kicks out. And whenever something goes wrong, I'm like, what protocol did we break? Was there a home inspection? No. Okay. Well, we break and we can only recommend sellers do it. We can't tell you what to do.
Right.
But once again, the other pet peeve is, there's two real houses that keep me awake at night. One we did last year, 2.15, didn't test well. I had two of them, the exact same house. One moved to $2 million. The other, I said, got to move to $2 million. The father-in-law,
They always know best.
Yeah.
the father-in-law said, leave it there.
Somewhere.
Leave it there and just let it roll. And god dang it, if the $2 million didn't sell for 2.15, the 2.15 sat there. They dropped it. 182.
182.
Is the offer. They didn't take it.
Of course.
That's the highest offer in 8 months is 182.
Do they still own that house today?
It's vacant. But the smart
Paying $5,000 a month.
when I say go down, and this weekend we had the same thing where we got a 1.62 that hopefully give maybe 1.6, and I say got to get to 1.5. We got to launch at 1.5 and let's see what happens. One stays at 1.6 and one drops to 1.5. The 1.5 gets multiple contracts, goes over 1.6, all good, no contingencies. And the other one, the only offer they've had in 30 days is 1.5.
Right.
So I'm going to say this, and it's true. The lower you price, the more you get. So the 1.6 got 1.5, and the 1.5 got over 1.6. So I'm just telling you, if the pet peeve is, I'm not trying to cheap sell. I'm trying to get to the buyer pool to let them bid it up.
I was just going to say, my pet peeve is when you're telling them where we should put it and they think that we're pricing it like undervalue or we're pricing it low. It's not low. That is the customary value for your home where we're trying to get the buyers through the door. And if it's worth 50 grand more or 100 grand more,
I'll let
we're
you know.
definitely going to get there
Yeah.
once people come through the door. And if we don't get there, then again, thank God we didn't go higher.
Yeah.
Because
Well, right, yeah, because you say, well, you're pricing at 1.5, it's too low, right? What if nobody offers at 1.5? Well, guess what? It wasn't worth it. You know, 'cause that's people's biggest fear. You probably hear is, well, what if we price it low and then nobody buys it then? It was like, well, then
that's-
you guys
yeah.
pretty good, all right?
We have had, will go down more than I know. Very good. I said it's worth 1.9. We tried 1.85. Nobody was there in the predictive analysis. We go to 1.8. He goes, well, I'm not going to take a 1.8 because I don't think it's worth 1.8. And I said, you don't have to take anything. But
Right.
that's what it is. That's what it's worth. I still say it's worth 1.9. We let them bid it out. It got to $2 million. So, but I hear that all the time. If we go to 1.5, I'm not sure if I want 1.5. I might not take it. Like, yeah, you don't have to, but is what it's worth. Usually they go,
Sure.
way above it. So we don't have that problem too much. What's your pet
I was
peeve?
just going to say.
What's my pet
Is
peeve?
your pet peeve? While Morgan gets another, some more liquid.
Well, my
Poppy.
my pet peeve is more with
you like a chili dog
you
for
know,
that?
not with you all, but if I'm looking, I can think of buyer seller and the market pet peeves. My biggest pet peeve is realtors that think that they're going to be successful without doing the work, right? That they think that business just falls from the sky. But 83% of realtors fail in the first 5 years. 83%. Because real estate's a hard profession. You have to do the work. Like
I laugh when people
you
are
all
like,
do.
"Oh, like it seems so great. Like I
easy.
want to get in," and I'm like,
And then real
"I slept in 5 days." That's I get a padded room at this.
You get to set your own schedule, except it's whenever nights and weekends, whenever somebody wants it, right?
Oh, you do? I was up till midnight last night.
I was writing that contract. I got over a list of 23 inspection items at 9:55 p.m. last night. I didn't sleep, right?
Yeah.
It's realtors that think that the business just gonna fall from the sky. I'm gonna make all this money, or the people that want you to just give it to them and they don't want to come to training and say I want to do the work and they don't want to collaborate. And I think that it's a hard profession. And I think from the outside, people see people cashing checks or closing $2 million homes, but they miss all the work that it takes to get there. So for me, every day it's the realtors that just think that it's going to happen for them without doing any kind of work, because it's a real job. It's really
a
hard.
shit show behind the scenes.
The 5 or 10% that really succeed at it become great at it, but the other 90% really struggle in this profession.
Yeah. And that's why I know you did a bunch of team things where you interviewed team leaders. That's why younger people, you must mentor into somebody for a good long time before you start this, before you go alone.
Because with this, and what I learned when I first came into real estate was I'm someone who I'm like, all right, just give me the book and let me read it and then I'll be great at it. And it's like, well, it's not like you can study something and do it. And I really, it kind of hit me in the face where the only way I'm going to learn, obviously, is through these transactions and through the experience. So, I mean, you threw me right in. So I got experience but I got experience very quick. Where a lot of realtors, they don't get the opportunity
to sit there. They don't pace you to make sure that you don't fall.
Exactly.
What does this mean? What does that mean?
And I'm gonna add on to my point real quick when it comes to my frustration with realtors is to a public out there, realize that 90% of the realtors, I shouldn't say this because we have 6,500 realtors, but 90% of the realtors out there you can't just hire anybody. Who you hire matters. Like, you've got to make sure you're hiring one of that 10% that really know what they're doing. They're successful. They treat it like a real full-time job, because anybody can charge you less, but they're going to do a better job and get you more for that.
And then
So
when something goes wrong in a transaction, do they have the experience where they've dealt with it before to give you the right advice? One wrong, set of advice, you're screwed. And there's a lot of money on the line.
Especially with all this money on the line. Guy comes in, he's at this level, 2 million or 2.1 million. All of a sudden, something happens. He pulls out or loses a job before he buys the house. You got to stay calm and either flip another contract in or find them another job before it happens. Whatever's happening, if I fail, you lose $100,000. So you've got to make sure you get it done. I saw Lou Holtz just died, and he said, there's 3 things you got to do, right, to be a success. You have to do what's right. So do what's right. And I would tell every realtor that you meet, do it right. If it needs paint, paint it. If it needs hardware, hardware. If you don't know the price, find out about it. You've got to do it right. Whatever's right. Don't do what the seller wants to hear. You got to do what's right. That's number 1. Number 2, you have to be better at what you're doing than anybody else, not just in the neighborhood, in the world. You got to just be a perfectionist. You got to be a beast at understanding. So I understand pricing. I understand markets. I understand contracts. Morgan understands people and selling and all the rest of that stuff. So be great at what you do is number 2. The third one is, and this is the one that really got me. He goes, you must be very empathetic to the people you're dealing with. So whoever you're dealing with, you're so enthralled with yourself and what you think and what you're doing. You don't focus on their wants, needs, desires, anxieties, problems, issues. So we have a lot of divorces. We have a lot of deaths. We have a lot of, different things. What we're thinking to do might not be what they want, So you really need not only to feel them out, but let them know that you understand exactly what they're going through and you're taking that into account as you're formulating this plan. So I found that fascinating when he said those 3 things. I was like, that shit fits right into what we're talking about.
Sure.
Everybody has 3 things, but I think for the realtors, it's do what's right, be the best in the world at whatever it is you're doing. We believe in partnerships. She's great at what she does. I'm great at what I do. And then the third one is just have empathy for the person you're dealing with, so that they know you feel what they're
because this is a big transaction in their lives.
Biggest financial thing of their lives to build.
Exactly. And so what they're going through, like you just said, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scene with them where they are stressed, they're overwhelmed. It's not easy to move, It's not easy to get all your stuff. You don't know where you're going. I mean, there could be sickness in the family. So it's along with when people are like, I would love to get into real estate. I'm like, oh, well, do you have a therapy license too? Because you're going to be a therapist, all right? You're going to be all of the above. Exactly. So a lot of it has to do with just the client communication and keeping them comfortable and off the edge.
Yeah.
So.
All right, without pet peeves, give me some news. Let's talk. I want to ask you something, okay? Because the last news I had was the judge, there's a conflict here where Compass wants to do office exclusive listings. And they sued Zillow because Zillow said, if you want to do that, you're not putting your listings on Zillow. And so there's a lawsuit. The judge came down and said, Zillow does not have to put your office exclusives on Zillow.
Yep.
So I know Compass said, well, we'll put them somewhere else. But Zillow's number 1. That's where most people are going. So my question to you is, how does this affect, from a global real estate standpoint, how does that affect Compass and what they were trying to do? Because I think that's in the worst interest of the seller.
Oh, so you nailed my pet peeve. And the biggest thing right now today, because I look at the global perspective, right? Running a company and seeing the real estate market, and we're talking to all these people that we don't know.
Dropping names.
Dropping all the articles.
The head of Zillow.
I got all the heads of everything, right? The most destructive thing happened that could really affect buyers and sellers today is what Compass is trying to do. They're trying to segment and say, you've got to know the secret password to find this 5, 10, 15, 20% of listings, however much they've got in the marketplace. That is if they put them all on the office exclusive network. But, real life example, okay? This was a couple that posted on LinkedIn, right? And this could happen to everybody on the world. we understand supply and demand, right? This is a couple that Compass agent had talked into saying, you need to go office exclusive. It's the best strategy. You won't have to list. It's going to be great. And the couple said, we want $1 million for our home. Nobody's ever gotten $1 million. We think that's the great price here. So they put it office exclusive to some Compass agents in their area. Got $1 million offer, and the second person walked in the door. Couple was happy, signed the contract. Great. They immediately started feeling apprehensive. If 2 people walked in and somebody gave me $1 million, what would happen if 20 people walked in, right? Thankfully for the sellers, the buyers started getting apprehensive right away, right? Too. Maybe we overpaid. Buyers canceled the contract. Sellers were like, hallelujah, we really want to go on the market. We all did not like the way that tasted. They put it on the market. What do you think they got? $1.1 million. They left $100,000 potentially on the table if they had gone office exclusive. That's just supply and demand, guys. If 10% of the market, even if every Compass agent, they had 10% of the market, knew about the house and showed that house, right? That means you're only exposed to 10% of people. How much? You got to get more for 100% of people. So why this is so destructive is this. If we live in a world that fast forward and Compass decides we're going to have our own silo over here. Well, now all of a sudden, if somebody wants to list in Vienna, they've got to list with Samson and, Compass and Long & Foster and KW and every company. You should have to list with 6 homes, right? In other countries, this is the way it is.
We're going back to
We're
1970.
going backwards, right? In other countries, you list your home, you get a list with 10 different companies to get in all 10 different websites that everybody looks at. That's insane. So what all Compass is trying to do is control the market to double end deals, make their stock price higher, and they're looking out for themselves. There's not one of those transactions that's looking at what's better for the buyer and the seller. And it's disgusting to me.
Well, let's go back to a word you just used, double end. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get both the sale and the listing. They're trying to get both.
So let's take you all, right? You've got great market share in Vienna and you're selling all the expensive homes. So you're doing a great job.
Yeah,
right?
we want to sell it ourselves.
Absolutely. But when it's exposed to the marketplace. But if you said, I got this $1.6 million listing, guys, we're going to go off in 3 weeks. I'm going to just expose it to people that I know first because you think you can get both ends of it.
Right.
Right? And you're going to make the full.
I would sue myself.
Right. But what's going to happen? Once you put that.
Can I do that?
They're like, sir, it's your name that's on it. Yep.
I am not
Sued myself because I stole money from that seller.
God dang, that's ridiculous. You stole money for yourself.
But you want
You're in the cash
Right. Yes.
That's the only reason to do that. But if a $1.6 million goes on the market, what do you want us to happen? You dress it up, looks pretty, you're going to get 1.7, 1.8 for it.
Right.
But you don't do that because it's selfish to try to get both ends of it and hide it behind a curtain.
So when we have buyers of our own,
I got fired up. Sorry.
Keep going. I like it. So we have buyers of our own. I mean, sometimes if they like a home that we're selling, it's like, oh man, well, you're not going to get a deal on this one because you're going to have to compete with the whole market because it is in our seller's best. Even though we represent both, I've been working with the buyers for a year, that even if that happens, we have to see what the market is going to, give that home. And we cannot sell it early without knowing that.
Every single time a buyer got a great deal because they knew somebody who got them in beforehand or got the deal, somebody got screwed. The seller got screwed. For every deal that Morgan could get a great buyer because they had a Casey Samson off, the seller probably got screwed, right?
Yeah.
For the buyer to think it's a good deal, somebody got a bad deal, right?
Yeah.
We actually had a meeting of top producers, and one of the guys looked at me and said, my cousin just got 2 great deals off market on Compass office exclusives. We need to do that more at Samson so we can get more of the good deals. I looked at him, I almost punched him dead in his face.
Donny and I got fence under. Who's going to rip this guy apart? It's like, no, I got it. No, I got it.
Because in that scenario, who are our clients? The sellers. So you want me to create a market that I can get more great buyer deals for people and screw our sellers. That's what Compass is doing every day, and it's disgusting.
Also with buyers, on the other hand, so if you do this off market and the sellers are saying, okay, I want 1.6 for your example, or 1.1, whatever, $1 million. So they got squirmy saying, I don't know if it's worth that. They wouldn't have felt that way if it was exposed to the market. There were multiple people probably doing it. They know that there was interest. Then they feel comfortable that we are not completely overpaying, even though they weren't overpaying.
But they didn't know.
They didn't know. They're flying blind.
Every one of your buyers that pays $100,000 over list price, they knew it was competitive. They saw the market in there and they won the bid, but they felt comfortable that they were paying what the fair market value was.
Exactly.
Right? Because they got exposed out to. somebody coming in blind making an offer doesn't really know.
And I don't even think it would be good. I mean, luckily we're really good at pricing this month, so he can tell what it should go for, the customary, what's the premium. But however, some of these other agents, if they're bringing in a buyer to their seller's home to try to do it off market, you know, both are kind of flying a little blind because the market's going to dictate what it's worth. So they could be overpaying for it before it goes in the market.
Absolutely.
Or they could be underpaying.
So if you've got a seller, if you're a seller out there today and you've got a listing agent pumping you and why you should go off market and office exclusive, you need to realize that is never going to be the best scenario for you.
Yeah.
It is always about taking advantage of you in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Sorry. Dan.
Absolutely.
Well,
Got on my
Mic
soapbox
drop,
there.
Donny.
no, so did I. I mean, Morgan had a buyer, and she wanted to buy one of Kelly's listings, and I was like, "I'll see you on Monday at dinner."
Yeah,
And
he made us go.
she's my
That was my daughter.
my daughter. We don't play paper games every day.
No, we don't.
But that shows great integrity because you would look to what was best for buyer and seller, not what was best for your own pocketbooks or one client over the other.
Yeah.
You want to give everybody a fair opportunity.
Your buyer got the deal, but she paid about another $100,000.
Well, they paid just what the market was saying it's worth.
Right.
So
Now they got to have that pocket winning the deal, probably.
Well, they didn't have to.
no, we're not gonna know.
Let me tell you something. That absolutely would we help an agent get the inside track? Absolutely, because you have good agents and bad agents.
Yes.
So I would go to the good agent and go, "Hey man, you're 10,000 behind a bad agent.
Yeah.
Just match them,
Right.
And we'll give you the deal."
You never at the expense of the seller. Though. Right.
Never.
Right.
No.
So the seller still gets the same money, but I have leverage over that realtor that I gave you this deal. Don't you dare.
If we have bad agents who we've had bad situations with, they're kind of on a list where it's like, all right, this person's bringing in an offer, but we want any other agent because you really screwed us.
Because part of the deal is getting the good contract. But
It's good contract.
But a
Get
good
to
agent.
the finish
You
line.
gotta the closing,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't matter how good the contract is if you have a bad agent and a squirmy buyer or that's not qualified or whatever the case may be, or a bunch of contingencies. If we can't get to the closing in 30 days, then none of it means anything.
Then you're talking 90-10, right?
Yep.
I'm looking for the 10% that are the real badass realtors who really get things done, know what they're doing. I want to work with them. I don't want to work with somebody that this is your second deal.
Yeah.
You know? So we will go to that agent. And that's why when you're looking at contracts, very important to know who everybody's at.
Absolutely.
All right?
All right. Well, yeah.
So I
I mean, it is like focus here because it's always empty by the time.
Hey, here's the St. Patrick's. Here's the St. Patrick's.
There you go. Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Cheers. Now, what are some good pubs you go to for St. Patrick's? Oh, I'm sorry.
I forgot you too.
Morgan, you don't not fill a cup up when Morgan's here.
Cheers again. We gotta make it one consistent.
Now, Chad.
Go ahead.
All right. So St. Patty's Day is coming up. What's everyone's favorite? I already know what yours is. What's everyone's favorite?
What do you mean you
breakfast?
know what I'm about?
Of course, I know it's your favorite one.
What?
Well, I'm not gonna say. Well, it's in Alexandria, Murphy's.
Well, I know Murphy's. You can't get in Murphy's on St. Patrick's Day. PJ's Canoes is the place I've gone since the 80s. For St. Patrick's.
Thanks for gonna say that.
I got buttons from 1984.
You weren't even twinkling.
Well, that's
Don't
where he
check
met my
your mother.
mom. That's where he met my mom, and he still swears. He's like, I was trying to hit on her friend, and she wouldn't take me. So I'm like, what kind of story is that?
Morgan, don't tell me that.
It was Sandy, but I mean, I asked if it was Sandy, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
She's a smoker.
Yeah, Sandy was kind of muddy.
Anyway.
I'm like, no. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, yada, yada. My grandkids.
Yeah.
Kevin, and there you go. The rest is history. Where else? Where you going?
There's some good places in Leesburg we like to go. You know, it just depends wherever my wife tells me. But any local pub that serves green beer, I'm down for on St. Patrick's.
The Anna Inn does serve.
Oh, there you go. I'm in.
Beer today. But so they do the green beer. We'll
It's a good time.
to Four Providences in at Falls Church, which is always fun. Have you guys been there?
I have not. I'm not as
It's
cool
fun.
as Morgan, though.
I consider
You know, I don't want to be.
Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day is amateur hour.
Okay.
Right? Good.
Everybody's fun.
It's like, I get all these amateurs. I don't know, man. So I kind of stay away.
You take your wife to the fine dining on every night, not just Valentine's Day.
Every night. She's worth it.
Actually, they do. You are a man who likes to go out to dinner. I'll tell you that much.
Buonarroti's.
There you go.
Tonight. Buonarroti.
There you go.
I'll
See
do that.
Casey there.
right, well, Donny, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for
This was
being
fun.
here.
Thanks for letting me know. It was good. Thanks for letting me hang out like that. Tell me it was good.
You know, Colby actually didn't come because I said you were coming, so he was like, "All right, I'm out on this one." So,
Well,
I'm just kidding.
there's been enough talk.
We're a little off for Colby.
When Donny comes, there's gonna be a lot of talk.
Oh, dang it. I tried to not do it. But
No,
I have good combos. I got a little soapbox about Compass, but that's protecting
All right,
buyers
guys,
and sellers.
we'll see you next
All
time.
right, see you next time, guys.